Hello, good day, and welcome to another interesting and exciting segment of the newspaper review for today, the 3rd of March, 2022. My name is Cyril Aloysius, reaching you here from Thav TV, Port Harcourt, River State, Nigeria. And of course, it is and has always been my pleasure to bring you the newspaper headlines. But before I do that for today, we will be going on a quick break. And when we come back, I will be bringing you the headlines. Please stay with us. Okay, welcome back from that quick break and taking you straight now to the first paper we shall be looking at for this morning. We have here amongst the headlines in the Punch, invasion, Nigeria, 140 others vote against Russia. Nigeria, 140 others vote against Russia. Ukraine to get $5.2 billion lifeline. Ukraine to get $5.2 billion lifeline. Embassy sends Nigerian volunteer fighters list to Ukraine. Embassy sends Nigerian volunteer fighters list to Ukraine. Buhari approves $8.5 million for evacuation. FG waives pre-departure test. FG waives 3 pre-departure test, I beg your pardon. And next in the Punch for this day, we have gender bills. No going back, says National Assembly. Women, FUM. No going back, says National Assembly. Women, FUM. Next, in the Punch, we have Nigerians suffering under reckless misrule of elites. According to Jaga, Nigerians suffering under reckless misrule of elites. According to Jaga. Ogun contractor kills girlfriend. Wright's wife commits suicide. Ogun contractor kills girlfriend. Wright's wife commits suicide. And next, in the Punch, we have Senate may pass revised budget next week. Senate may pass revised budget next week. And next, in the Punch for today, we have FG shifts concession of 4 international airports to Q2. FG shifts concession of 4 international airports to Q2. That's on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. And next in the Punch, we have insecurity may scare voters in 2023. Can warns insecurity may scare voters in 2023. Can warns. That's on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. And lastly, in the Punch for today, we have if ASU stops fighting, public varsities will die like primary schools. If ASU stops fighting, public varsities, I beg your pardon, will die like primary schools, according to Osadeke, Union President. That's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper, all right? And that's the much we can take in the Punch. You want more information on those headlines, do get a copy of the Punch for yourself. Taking you straight now to The Nation, we have amongst the headlines in The Nation, government kicks off process to Kyari's extradition to U.S. Government kicks off process to Kyari's extradition, for Kyari's extradition, I beg your pardon, to U.S. Government kicks off process for Kyari's extradition to U.S. Malami asks court to OK request. Malami asks court to OK request. COP challenges 14 days detention order. COP challenges 14 days detention order. And next in The Nation for today, we have suffering over petrol scarcity lingers. Suffering over petrol scarcity lingers. Queues at filling stations cause traffic. Queues at filling stations cause traffic gridlock in cities, I beg your pardon. Panic buying, hoarding to blame. Panic buying, hoarding to blame. NNPC loading has started. NNPC loading has started. And next in The Nation for today, we have zoning crisis festers in APC. Zoning crisis festers in APC. New committee to submit report Monday. new committee to submit report on Monday. And lastly, in the nation for today, we have Russia invasion of Ukraine. Russia invasion of Ukraine. 115 Nigerians register in Abuja to join Ukraine troops. 115 Nigerians register in Abuja to join Ukraine troops. Buhari okays $8.5 million to evacuate stranded 2,090. We have lost 2,000 civilians. UN, 336,000 now refugees. UN, according to UN, 336,000 now refugees, right? That's the much we can take in the nation for this morning. And taking you straight now to the new Telegraph, we have, amongst the headlines, persisting queues at fuel stations. Persisting queues at fuel stations. We now have 1.7 billion liters of fuel, says NNPC. We now have 1.7 billion liters of fuel, says NNPC. That's on page 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the new Telegraph. And next, we have Buhari approves 3.536 billion naira for evacuation of 5,000 Nigerians from Ukraine. Buhari approves 3.536 billion naira for evacuation of 5,000 Nigerians from Ukraine. And next, amongst the headlines, here we have obesity on the rise in Africa. Obesity on the rise in Africa, according to World Health Organization. Obesity on the rise in Africa, according to World Health Organization. And next, in the new Telegraph, we have IMF, World Bank to support Ukraine with $5.2 billion. IMF, World Bank to support Ukraine with $5.2 billion. That's on page 25 of the new Telegraph. And lastly, in the new Telegraph for this morning, we have Nigeria needs $30 billion investments to meet energy demands. Nigeria needs $30 billion investment to meet energy demand. NNPC, IOCs, Dangote seal gas supply deal. NNPC, IOCs, Dangote seal gas supply deal, right? You want more information on those headlines? Do get a copy of the new Telegraph for yourself. All right, taking you straight now to our next paper for today. We have here the Daily Independent, and amongst the headlines in the Daily Independent, we have Nigeria currently governed by myopic leaders, according to Jega. Nigeria currently governed by myopic leaders, according to Jega, says a revolution may become necessary. Says a revolution may become necessary. Next, in the Daily Independent, we have Russia invasion of Ukraine. Russia invasion of Ukraine. FG earmarks $8.5 million to evacuate Nigerians. FG earmarks $8.5 million to evacuate Nigerians. First batch of evacuees arrives today. First batch of evacuees arrive today. Next, amongst the headlines, we have Commission orders airline operators to halt airfare hike. Commission orders airline operators to halt airfare hike. And next, we have over 200 terrorists killed in the last 4 days, according to Niger State government. Over 200 terrorists killed in the last 4 days. That's according to the Niger State government. And lastly, in the Daily Independent for today, we have women protest National Assembly rejection of pro-equality bills. Women protest National Assembly rejection of pro-equality bills. Says men against affirmative action for women, shameless. Says men against affirmative action for women, shameless, according to Minister. All right, that's the much we can take in the Daily Independent. Taking you straight now to the leadership. We have amongst the headlines in the leadership, Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war. 200 Nigerians apply to join Ukraine army as FG evacuates 2090 today. 200 Nigerians apply to join Ukraine army as FG evacuates 2090 today. That's on page 4 of the leadership. And next in the leadership for today, we have Abdul Razak heads APC zoning committee. Abdul Razak heads APC zoning committee as Southeast rejects deputy chairman slot. Abdul Razak heads APC zoning committee as Southeast rejects deputy chairman slot. That's on page 7 of the leadership. And next in the leadership for today, we have fuel scarcity hits aviation sector. Fuel scarcity hits aviation sector. Jet A1 sells for 440 naira per liter. All right, and next we have fuel subsidy. Fuel subsidy. Send PIA for amendment. Senate tells PMB. Send PIA for amendment. Senate tells PMB. And lastly, in the leadership for today, we have Constitution review. Women protest rejection of bills. Women protest rejection of bills. That's on page 9 of the leadership. And taking you straight now, and that's the much we can take in the leadership. Taking you straight to our next and the final paper for today. We have in the Nigerian Tribune, international schools dying by side of the road. International students, I beg your pardon, dying by side of the road, trying to flee Ukraine. International students dying by side of the road, trying to flee Ukraine, according to report. And next, here we have over 200 terrorists killed in 4 days, according to Niger State government. Over 200 terrorists killed in 4 days, according to Niger State government. That's on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune. And next we have Afeni Fere, Ohaneze, MBF tackle NAS over Constitution Amendment. Afeni Fere, Ohaneze, MBF tackle NAS over Constitution Amendment. That's on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune. And next we have rise against devilish alliance of exploiters in 2023. Jega tells Nigerians. He says, rise against devilish alliance of exploiters in 2023. Jega tells Nigerians. Says next president should be a Christian from South, according to Khan. Next president should be a Christian from South, according to Khan. That's on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. And lastly, in the Nigerian Tribune for today, we have ASU strike. Students block Ibadan, Akure, Abuja Expressway. ASU strike. Students block Ibadan, Akure, Abuja Expressway. That's on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. All right, that's the much we can take in the newspaper headlines for today. Right about now, we will be going on a quick break. And when we return, of course, I will be joined by my lovely guest who will be talking on some of the headlines in today's papers. Please stay with us as we come back from this break. Okay, guys, welcome back from that short break. And right about now, I am being joined by my lovely guest who, of course, will be talking on some of the headlines in today's papers. And by that person, I mean Mr. Victor. Mr. Victor, you're welcome to the show today.
Boom.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Victor, you have some interesting headlines today in the papers, because of time, we won't be able to talk about a lot of them. So what do you make of Osodeke's statement that if ASU stops fighting, public universities will die like primary schools? What do you make of that statement?
Well, he's very right in that statement. Because if you take a look at the whole scenario, we have the primary, we have the secondary, then university. Find out that it's just the universities that are talking. What happens to secondary education? What about the primary? Okay. And he's making a very, very valid point, because when you go to, not just in the urban cities, when you go to the rural cities or the rural enclaves of the country, you find out that primary school education is almost dead. Go to the north, apart from the insecurity, even places that they do not really have that level of high insecurity, you still find out that education has gone so bad, especially primary, then secondary. That is the reason why you see a matured person of 18 years cannot write a sentence because of bad primary education. So, and he was mentioning the fact
The foundation is not strong enough.
no, not strong at all. And he was mentioning that if they continue that way in universities, Nigerian universities will be on ground zero. Also, he made mention that how are we going to have a department of, let's say, a technology department, a science and technology department, and you find out that they don't have laboratories, they don't have equipment.
So how do you want them to work?
Yes. And in a situation whereby some courses you have to do like, if you have 3 hours of classes, it should be 2 hours practical, 1 hour theory. But in many cases, lecturers do 3 hours theory, okay? And they use descriptive learning to teach them practical. And you find out it does not work out that way.
It doesn't work out.
At the end of 4 to 5 years, you find out that these graduates can't handle many.
I know it's competent enough.
Yes. They can't handle many equipment. They can't go to the field, and you find out that companies now call them, employ them, start training them on stuff that they are supposed to have learned in the higher institution.
Yes.
Now you go over to hostels. Our hostels are dead. Reason why students tend to rent houses sometimes 15 kilometers away from the school. How will they cope with transportation
very stressful.
and body stress?
Yes. And then you still have to, come to class early and learn very well.
So he was mentioning that these things have to be put in check. In as much as, yes, funds to the lecturers needs to be paid their wages.
Yes.
But they want these universities to be revitalized. Many universities don't have internet. In fact, many universities don't even have generators.
She's very, very bad. It's very bad.
And in some of the departments that they are supposed to have like just 100 students.
Yes.
If there are some students, some departments will have up to 300 to 400 students, and that will choke up classrooms. That students now hang around windows. It still happens to date. You're having a lecture and students will be by the window side because the classroom is filled.
It's filled. And most times very hot.
So what kind of graduates are you trying to produce in such conditions?
Okay, Mr. Victor, thanks for sharing your thoughts on that particular headline. What do you also make of the news of international students dying by the roadside while trying to flee Ukraine? It's a really sad one, actually. It's a really sad one.
Yeah.
Because I personally feel like the government of the countries where those people belong to, they should have made earlier preparations to see how they'll be able to evacuate their citizens on time before things get out of hand. Right now, they've lost their lives. And it's a very sad one. I don't know what you make of that particular headline.
It's a very sad thing because majority of these international students are Africans. They are Africans, and Nigeria make about 20% of them. And it's really a sad one that the winter season is here. This is the winter season, and the war is going on in a time like this, meaning that cold pneumonia will affect these guys. And you know what cold does?
Yes,
it can affect the heart. Okay, so the news is up there, and to make the case worse, or to worsen the case, there is a whole lot of reports coming from Ukraine, coming from Poland too, that Ukrainian officials are abusing these students.
Okay.
Racially and otherwise.
Yes.
The news is too much now.
It's a very sad one. Even
Twitter,
in the face of war,
yes,
even in the face of war, they are maintaining racism. It's a very sad one.
come
We
to
are
think
over
of
here
it,
praying for God to help them.
Yes.
And while they are over there abusing us.
that is just what I want to say. Countries around the world are gathering resources, trying to send to you guys. So
Yes. You can come out of the
of
suffering
this
you're facing at the
war.
moment. Yes. And you are busy
are now
abusing us over there.
especially the black students. It's really, really, really sad. It's really sad. And now come to think of it too, you ask, especially for Nigerians over there, if Nigeria, like I mentioned the other day, if our education system
It's good enough.
at par with middle economies, as in, we are not asking for too much, my brother. Just give us the barest minimum.
Yes.
And the Nigerians won't leave, especially going to places like Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Reason why they go to Ukraine now, many of those families can't afford the US and the UK because of the high cost of education there.
Yeah.
So for some cases where you have like some schools in the UK, they pay like £20,000. These schools in Ukraine can charge 2,000, 1,500.
Okay.
So it entices them. Yes, they have high standards in Ukraine. That's the reason why you have many medical students over there, and they do excellently well when they come back. I have a couple of friends that went there, came back, and they are doing so good
well
in Nigeria. So please, if the Nigerian government takes education seriously, just like the ASU president is saying, okay, come to think of it, we are increasing taxes. Why don't you bring a portion? Okay? Even if it means 10%, 20% of our VAT,
Yes.
can go along with all these things we are clamoring for.
It will go a long
20%
way.
of the increased
Will go a
VAT
long
will
way.
take care of it.
Exactly.
So they should try and do something so that we don't lose lives. Our fellow Nigerians go out there to study
And then
and
they
they
end up
die.
losing. Yes.
Man, so painful for parents and the public at large.
If our system here is actually good enough, we won't have people leaving the country to go outside.
Exactly.
And which is the reason why even most of the politicians travel out for medical.
My brother, don't mention. Your president is out again now.
It's a very sad one. They keep traveling out, whereas make yours better is a problem.
And mind you, we are switching to her, but mind you, for the fact that I'm not happy with the president. I know many of us are not happy with him, especially when it comes to health. Okay, yet it's unfortunate that he's ill. Okay, it's unfortunate. It's nobody's fault. Okay, but for the fact that during the first tenure he came with so much promises about the health sector. We're even begging him. So all these trips you are making to the hospital, a particular hospital, why can't you bring them to Aso Rock? Bring in those equipment, bring in the expertise. You can pay them. Let them do their duties there with you in Aso Rock.
We have a long way to go.
It's really sad, man.
We have a long way to go, Mr. Victor.
Really
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on that particular headline. Shortly before we call it a day, Aisha Buhari's birthday in Dubai.
Wow.
Aisha Buhari's birthday in Dubai. What do you make of that particular headline, please? Because we are suffering at the moment, and somebody is doing birthday in Dubai.
In a time like this. When fuel scarcity is biting, these guys, they don't care about us.
It is obvious. It is very, very
and
obvious.
come to think of it, why would the first lady, in as much as the office is not in the constitution, office of the first lady is not in the constitution.
Yes.
But why will she be using taxpayers' money? You can't tell me she's not using taxpayers' money to live in Dubai, in UAE. She is living, a first lady will leave Abuja, leave your comfort zone in Aso Rock, move over to Dubai. My brother, okay, February 14th was the birthday, February 17th. And mind you, by that time, the ASU strike has been on, the fuel scarcity, and our excellencies, governors of many states,
Okay.
Ekiti, the video that was released.
Okay.
Wife of a Ekiti governor, Mrs. Fayemi.
Okay, yeah.
She was the one carrying the cake and roses. Dancing. And they asked them, what is even causing the whole issue is that the video was leaked. They did not even let us know. The video was leaked just recently. And they were like, you know what? We went for a meeting in Dubai. We went for to meet an agency that will invest in our nation's education. They use education, mind you. That will invest in our education. That's what we went for.
They are talking to children.
Governor's wife's phone went for that meeting. And they now have to branch by.
They are talking to children.
They now have to branch by.
They are talking to children.
To see the first lady and honor her. One first lady living in the UAE, living in, oh my God, in another man's land.
They don't care about us. It's a very sad
So
world.
when the leaked video came out, that was when they were now, I won't call it jittery. They were on the offensive. While we Nigerians interpret it that way, that they went for a meeting. The governor, the wives of the governor's forum.
Okay.
Forum of the wives governor rather. They went for a meeting, and they now branched by. Then we now ask, show us videos, show us evidences to show that you guys went for
a meeting,
an official meeting.
Official meeting, yes. Because
They
there
can't.
should be pictures. There
Yes.
should be videos.
Yes. Nothing about that.
Like I said before, they are talking to children. So.
Yes. And it hurts at a point in time. Just yesterday, a handful of them went to National Assembly to protest about the gender bill.
Yes.
That the Senate, the National Assembly they were against
for equality.
Yes, they were against their gender equality bill.
Yes.
Just yesterday, they went to protest. My brother, who will help us in this country?
Only God, sir. Only God. Only God. Thank you
If
so
our
much.
mothers that we are supposed to at least have the last hope, they should be the last hope of the Nigerian youth.
Society, yeah.
Take care of at least pressure your husband with respect to education. In as much
Yes.
as we know that your kids are not in the country,
Yes.
but at least help the lives of the common Nigerian.
Mr. Victor, thank you so much for your time on the show. Well, unfortunately, we have to call it a day and draw the curtain in this point. And for you watching, thank you so much for staying there. Thank you so much. Without you, we would not be here. And just in case you're not following us on our social media handles, please do so. On YouTube, it's at Thav TV. On Instagram, it's at Thav TV_NG. On Facebook, it's at Thav TV. And on Twitter, it's at Thav TV. My name remains Cyril Aloysius. And until I come your way again tomorrow, have a wonderful day.